On. Great, thanks everyone for calling in. Today's webinar is going to be about navigating the CSA Connect site for workshop presenters at CitSciVirtual. Like I said, my name is Rhianna Putnam. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist for the Citizen Science Association. Later on the call, we'll also have Allison Kaywood, who's our program chair, Jennifer Shirk, CSA's Executive Director, and Liv Vega, our events coordinator. And so you'll have a few different people to ask questions of, and we should hopefully be able to address those. If not in the webinar today, we will have some open office hours and other opportunities for you to get your questions answered down the road. So just an overview of what we'll talk about. If you want to go ahead and do an introduction in the chat, if you haven't done that already, you're welcome to. If you have questions, again, please put them in the Q&A tool so we can loop back to them. At the end of the demo, I will go through and answer all of your questions. And so feel free to put them in there, but just know that the question period will be after we walk through all the steps. I'll talk a little bit about registration and access to CSA Connect, because I know that's on a lot of your minds. Then we'll walk through the workshop components, do a demo of how to upload into CSA Connect, and then Liv should be on and able to talk a little bit about the live sessions, and we'll have Jennifer and Allison available to answer questions if you're still thinking about how you want to structure those, and then we'll end with some reminders. So registration is open. I hope a lot of you have taken the opportunity to register. If you haven't already, you can do that by on the event page. If you're a member, please note that you do have to log in someplace different to register as a member. And so make sure to click the option to register as a member and reach out if you have any troubles with registration. I know I saw a few people had questions about, do I need to register for my own bundle? No, you do not. If you would like to register for a couple or for different bundles, it's a perk as a presenter. You can be a part of your own workshop bundle, but also tune into others. Just know that there might be one session that conflicts with your time of your live sessions. And so within each workshop bundle, we don't have any overlapping sessions, but since you may be registering for an additional one, there might be one that overlaps. And so just something to keep in mind. You can now also find a list of all of the workshops and workshop bundles on our website. And so you will find information about your workshop there, in addition to all the other workshops that are going to be offered. We also recently shared a calendar on the event page. And so if you're curious to see more about what this event is going to look like in May, we have an overview. The calendar currently is in Eastern time, and we're working to get an interactive calendar so you can see it in your own time zone and be able to save events that look promising to you. That should be up soon. And so again, if you haven't looked at the CitSciVirtual website lately, we encourage you to do so, and to share it with any friends or colleagues that you think might be interested in the event. Okay, so I'm gonna just dive right in to what our workshop components are, and then we'll get into a demo, because that's why we're all here today. So the 5 main workshop components, and just to break down some of the language, we've talked a lot about workshop bundles. And so the way that we are granting access to workshops through CitSciVirtual is that every registrant will have access to 3 workshop bundles. And in each bundle, there will be a number of different workshops. And within that bundle, there will be no conflicting workshop sessions. And so each week, there will be kind of a featured workshop where you will have your live sessions and folks can interact with the asynchronous material within that bundle. And then over the first 2 weeks, we have one set of bundles, and the second 2 weeks, we have another set of bundles. And so folks will have the opportunity to engage with lots of different workshops on different topics, and we're really excited about that. And if you have any questions about the way that's going to work or what that might look like for you, feel free to put that in the Q&A tool. I know it's kind of a novel idea, and hopefully it's making more sense now that you can see the bundles on the website. So your individual workshop will be listed as a section in a bundle. And so you can see here, this is an example of our open to all bundle, which is the third bundle that folks have. So folks will be able to choose through for a bundle in group A, which is the first half of May, and in group B, which is the second half of May. And so that way there's no conflicting sessions. And then we also have a series of workshops that are going to be open to everyone. And so in our demo, we'll talk a little bit about what this open to all bundle looks like. And so here you can see we have 2 workshops that you can see in this screenshot. And each workshop will have its own section, and they will be able to add content to your section, add lessons, and link to your live session from there. The workshop lessons, you nest underneath your workshop name, and this is where you can add your asynchronous material, links to pre-recorded videos, things like that. And in addition to that, we'll also have live events. And so you'll see when we get into the CSA Connect site that within each workshop bundle, there will be this table of contents or these sidebars along the side, and there's an events tab. And in the events tab, we will have an event for each live session, and you can link to that event in your workshop lessons, and it will also be a way for people to RSVP and keep track of all of the live sessions that they want to attend. And then the last thing that people will be, that you'll need to be attentive to as a workshop presenter are the discussion feeds on all of the components of your workshop. And so each lesson will have its own discussion feed at the end where people can post questions. You can prompt people to reflect and share it there. And so it's a great way to engage with your workshop participants outside of live events and to prompt them to chat with each other or ask questions of each other. And so that will just be another thing just to keep in mind that you will be needing to monitor. Okay, so this is our overview of our components. I'm going to switch now and go into CSA Connect, and I'm going to walk you through what it will be like from when you get your join link to CSA Connect for those of you that are new and not currently in there. And then we will walk through how to upload your materials and what it'll look like for you as a presenter. So to start, when you get your join link for CSA Connect, which for workshop presenters, we're hoping to release this week. So if you've already registered, you can look for the link tomorrow to access your spaces in CitSci or in CSA Connect. If you are registering after today is March 25th, you can expect to get that join link within about 48 hours. It is going to take a little bit of manual input on our side to get you into your workshop space. So give us a couple of days after you register to make sure that we get you into all the appropriate spaces on that site. So you'll get a link and an email from us at CitSciVirtual@citizenscience.org. So be on the lookout for an email from that. And then you'll click through the link and click access. And then here you can create an account. And it prompts you to connect with Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Apple. You do not have to do that. We encourage you to connect it using the email that you registered with or the email associated with your membership, which would hopefully be the email that you registered with. And so you can click next up in the corner, and then you can add the email associated with your account. Great, and then you'll click the final, sign in, and then it'll bring you into the CSA Connect site. And so once you're in the CSA Connect site, you will land on the main activity feed for the main network. And one of the nice features of CSA Connect is that in addition to these group spaces where the CitSciVirtual event activities will be happening, like your workshops, like posters and keynotes, there's also a main activity feed that is connected to all of the groups that are a part of the CSA, like our working groups or some affinity groups. And so if you are a member and joining any of those, you'll see activity from a wide range of events and groups and things here. And so this is just a good place to explore and see what's happening. When you first log in, you'll see a series of welcome articles. We encourage you to look at the community guidelines and contribute if you have anything to share there. There's also information on how to make meaningful connections and what details to add to your profile. How to fine tune your notifications so you're not getting too many or too few emails, and so that you can keep up with comments. And so really encourage you when you first log into CSA Connect to look at these welcome articles and get a feel for the CSA Connect site. And then after that, you will go to your workshop bundle. And these workshops are going to be nested in this workshop tab. And since I did this as one of my test accounts, you can see that it only has this one that is open. And I'm going to switch to a different screen and show you what it looks like when you're in your workshops. And so in addition to workshops, you will also have access to the full CitSciVirtual group. And this is where poster presenters will be uploading their poster materials. This is where keynote events will happen and all of the special networking events. And so you will have access to this group in addition to the main network and your workshop space when you register. Okay, let me switch my share real quick. Okay. Okay, and so we were just on this main page of the CSA Connect site, and then I go here to workshops, and you would find just visible, or you would just find access to the workshop that you are in at this point. And so for today, we're going to be working through this demo workshop presenter workshop. And so in the workshop, again, there's going to be a workshop list. This is where you're going to find all of the individual workshops within that bundle. And so this is an example from our open bundle. And so you can see there are several workshops. We will upload it with your name, and then we will make you a presenter or an instructor for that section. And so you will want to navigate to your section within your workshop bundle, and then you are welcome to edit that. So for this one, I'm going to upload some things that should be useful for you as presenters. I'm going to use some of the materials from our workshop toolkit, which I hope you all have taken a chance to look at. If you haven't, everything that we talk about today is going to be in there, and it's a good place to reference if you're trying to troubleshoot or understand how to use the platform. So from here, you can click Edit. I'll call this Workshop Toolkit. And then, so within these overviews and lessons, somebody recently pointed out it's a lot like a blog post, and it has a lot of the same features that other website builders, drag and drop editors have. And so what's nice about this platform that we're using for workshops and posters is that if you are drafting this in a Word doc or a Google Doc and are formatting it there, a lot of the formatting will carry over, and you can even copy images straight from another file into here. And so a good idea when thinking about how do I draft my workshop materials, where do I put them, maybe draft it in a Word doc or a Google Doc, and then copy and pasting it in, I think is a good strategy to think about when you're building your workshop. So this is the overview page. We will copy in the abstract that you submitted. but you're welcome, if there are some small tweaks to that, you're welcome to make those. And so you can look at your overview section. You can add, it will, when we share it with you, it'll just have the title and the abstract, and you're welcome to add in additional co-authors and images, short videos, if there's an intro video or something. You can also, so to tag authors, you can tag people using the @ sign, the same way that you would in a lot of social media sites. And so we encourage you to do that, because everything that you do on CSA Connect is connected to your profile. And so if people are interested in learning more about Jennifer Shirk, they can click on her profile and see like who she is, who she works for. There's links to personal sites, and you can also direct message people directly from there. So I encourage you, if your co-presenters are registered, to tag them, so that way folks can engage with them as well. Okay, so this is the overview page. A lot of this will be built for you, but you are welcome to make changes to it. Okay, I'm going to save this. And if you happen to, I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. It does auto-save your drafts, and you will be able to access your drafts, and I will show you where to find those drafts in a minute. But for now, I'm going to move on to adding a lesson. And so in the toolkit and in our email confirmations, we've talked a lot about adding asynchronous content and adding some materials that you can share with your workshop participants ahead of the live sessions and to supplement the live sessions. And so you will do this in the lessons. Okay, and so you can add a new lesson, and then once you've done that, you will click edit. And it brings up another editor screen that is the same as what we just saw in the overview. You can title this whatever makes sense for yours. I'm going to title this our workshop checklist, and I will copy this checklist into here. And so, and then you can copy and paste into here. And so the nice thing about the editor in CSA Connect is that it's very customizable. It does port over, like you can see here, there were some hyperlinks. It ports over the hyperlinks when you copy and paste them. And it ports over a lot of the formatting. If there's formatting that you'd like to do, like say we want to bold where it says CSA Connect platform, you just click on it and you can bold, italics. Say you wanted this as a numbered list instead of a checklist, you can change that to a numbered list. There's lots of options for formatting, and so you can really make this these lessons and these kind of sub posts where you're sharing asynchronous material very visually appealing, easy to follow. They're very customizable, and shouldn't take too much time to do that kind of customization. And so let me get out of this list. I'll do it above it. And so we were able to copy and paste in a list. You can also add in images. So any images, even if it's a screenshot or a JPEG file, you would add those in as photos. And so I can click photos here, and I can add in an image, which helps just make this lesson feel a little bit more kind of polished, if you will. It's kind of stuck on the list right here. Give me just a second and I'll show you some of the other things that you can add in. In the image, you can center it, you can align it, you can have it be off to the side. Okay, I'm going to save this one and then I'm going to add another one and I'll show you some of the other materials that you might be able to add. Okay. So I was able to add a lesson here. You'll see once the lesson is published, here's where the discussion feed's going to be. It'll have information about you, the presenter here, and then folks can easily click on that. And they can see about you, and they can also direct message you from there. Okay, so we have the workshop toolkit. This is my workshop area within the bundle. Here's my first lesson. I can add another lesson if I'd like, and then you click edit. Okay, let's think about if we can share these workshop details. And you'll see here that if I copy in these images, even come in when I copy them. And so you, in addition to images and text and that kind of formatting, you can also add files. And so if you would like to share a PDF of an article or of a handout or something like that, you're welcome to do that. If it's a resource that you want people to download and be able to use and share, just make sure that you have the permissions to do that and that it is something that you would be comfortable with people downloading and using on their own computers. Anything that you post in here, if you have images or things that are more proprietary, that would be covered under the privacy of the event. And so we do have some disclaimers about not sharing that material without permission of presenters. And so you can add PDFs. That was one thing that we talked about. You can also embed video links, which is really great. Give me just a second. I will pull up a YouTube link from one of our recent webinars. Great, and so to embed a link, you just copy the URL for that, and then you can post it directly in here, and it'll pull up a thumbnail. You're welcome to change that if you'd like it to be something other than what it pulls in. Then you click save. And then there's a video that people can view directly from that lesson. They don't have to follow a link and go into YouTube. They stay in the lesson, they stay on CSA Connect, and then when they're done watching that video, they can move on and do the next thing. And so I think that we have instructions in the toolkit on how to do that. You can record videos in a lot of different platforms. You could use Zoom or PowerPoint or other ways. We recommend that you keep those videos manageable and somewhat shorter, maybe 15-minute, 30-minute, probably no more than 45 minutes for some of these asynchronous videos, but it can be a great way to dive deeper into something that you might not have time in your live session to discuss, or to provide some context for people that might have to miss the live session, but are interested in learning more about your topic. And so it's not required that you record and share asynchronous videos, but it is a nice touch that will appeal to different learners. And so the last thing that we encourage you to do in your lessons is maybe put some reflection questions or prompts. Okay, and then you can ask your question. You can format this with a heading. You can bold this, and then it'll encourage people to engage with the content in your material or in your lesson. And so there's a lot of functionality here. There's a lot that you can do with it, and we encourage you to think creatively about what it is that you're presenting and how you might be able to engage or attendees that are coming in with different expectations. Some folks might want to dive deep and they want to do all of the individual lessons and watch all the videos ahead of time. Some folks might come in and they only have that hour for the live session. And so thinking of a balance of how do you engage people that really want to explore and learn a lot on their own and have the time to devote to that, and the people that just want to check in for an hour, learn something. And so this is just a tool that you can use for your workshop. And yes, we encourage you to use it creatively. And so again, we'll save here. Our lesson shows up with the images, with the downloads, and with the video that you can view from inside there, as well as the discussion prompt. All of these settings obviously won't be visible to the attendees, and so this discussion feed will be closer to where you post that question, and so it should be clear for people on how to use that. Okay, I'm sure there is more to this, and I will be able to answer some questions in just a moment. I do want to briefly show you where things would be if they were in draft form. And so in your lesson, I believe you just go back and click edit and you can change that and it should auto save it. If not, I think this might just be for posts. If you go to your profile is going to be up in this top. If you've added a photo, you'll click your photo, and then there's this opportunity to click your drafts. You can also look at saved posts. There's a few things in here that you might want to look at. But so that you might, if you can't find the work that you've done, check in your drafts and it might be there. Okay, I'm going to stop my share for a minute so I can see the Q&A and we'll answer some questions. And if I need to go back into screen share, we can definitely do that. But thanks for letting me talk at you for a while and looking forward to seeing what questions that you have. Looks like Liv's on. Glad you're able to make it. And Jennifer.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. Okay, someone asked if they have to register for the bundle they're presenting, and no, we're excited to allow our workshop presenters to register for 2 additional bundles in addition to the one that you're in. And so just know that there might be one session that might conflict with yours. As an attendee, can you change your bundle after registration? No, that is something that you will have to do at registration, and then you will only be added to the bundles that you sign up for. Co-authors listed on the workshop. If you want them listed on the website, on the program, I believe that we have emailed out a link to a form that you can change those in, and we can follow up with that if you want to change that on the website. If you just want to acknowledge more people than you included in your submission, you're welcome to just add them to that overview page, and you can tag people or you can add people even if they're not attending the conference. And so if they are attending the conference, you can use the @ sign and tag them. But if there are other people, you can just add their names and give them credit for the contributions to the work. Okay, can more than one person from the team access the workshop to add content? We need to explore this a little more. I believe that if they register and put that they are a workshop presenter, we will give them access to that. But Susan will follow up on that and provide more clarity on that. We will grant all workshop presenters access to their workshop early. We might only be able to assign one presenter to that workshop session that would be listed, but I believe we might be able to grant them access where they could still edit. So good question, thank you for that. Okay, Sarah asked if once they have their CitSciVirtual account that we are part of for the poster and or workshop topic. Let's see, it looks like they have their account, but they haven't been able to access your specific areas. So the workshops we are still setting up, and we will get you the information to access your workshop bundle soon, but give us till the end of the week. If you're currently registered, we'll try to have that tomorrow. And if you haven't registered yet, give us 48 hours to get you into the CSA Connect site, and then maybe another day to get you added as a presenter in your workshop bundle. And there's lots you can do to prep and in waiting to get into the CSA Connect site. And so a lot of the content material, like I showed, if you are prepping that in a Google Doc or in a Word doc, you can just copy and paste that in. And so if you are waiting to get into the CSA Connect site to start drafting things, you can go ahead and start doing that. And then once you're in the site, you'll be able to copy and paste and move those things in. Okay, Laura asked about 2 co-facilitators who will be doing the live session, but not attending other sessions. Is it required to register them? If they are attending any sessions, then we do require that everybody who's presenting is registered. Is there a minimum amount of asynchronous content by lesson or as a whole? No, I think that we didn't put any minimums on that. I think it is more encouraged than required. And Jennifer, you can correct me if I am misspeaking on that. I don't remember how exactly we phrased it, but I would encourage you to at least post some things as a way to entice people to attend your live session. And so if you have an overview of what you're going to be covering, if you have some supporting documents that you might be talking about, posting those things as a lesson so that people can preview what you'll be talking about in the live session, or so that they can see at a glance what might be in that recording, I think is a good idea. And so I would encourage you to do something.
Yeah, Rihanna, I would just add for context, recall that we are serving an audience that covers many, many different time zones. And so there will be attendees who will not be able to join a live session, but may very well still be interested in your topic. So while there isn't a minimum, we would encourage some level of asynchronous content around your topic so that the fullest range of attendees can engage.
Yeah, thank you for that. Great. Petra asks if videos need to be pre-posted on YouTube or if you can add a video that is not online. Unfortunately, you can't add just an MP4 file like you would have downloaded from Zoom. You do need to have it uploaded either on Zoom or not on Zoom, on YouTube or on Vimeo. I would suggest YouTube just because you can create a free account and you can create have your video set to unlisted. I would, when you're looking at the settings, and I believe we have a link to this in the toolkit on how to upload a video to YouTube and how to set the settings for that. If you have it set to unlisted and then embed that video in your workshop lesson, then folks wouldn't have a link to it and they wouldn't be able to share it. And so it would kind of be a private video in that sense, but there isn't the capability just to upload something directly in an MP4 file. Can you copy and paste as a PowerPoint? You probably can. I'm not sure how the formatting would carry over on that. You can also, if you're wanting to save things as, if you have some PowerPoint slides that you'd like to save as image files, you can do that. And if you created PowerPoint, for example, for your live session that you'd like to share, you can download that as a PDF or link to, if you have it in Google Slides, you can link to the Google Slides. So there are ways to link out to that, but I'm not sure how the formatting would carry over from a PowerPoint. And yes, you can save a PowerPoint as a PDF to add that in. Can we embed a quiz at the end of the lesson? There isn't, so there are a lot of features that are similar to course design features for those of you that have been doing online courses. A lot of it should feel somewhat familiar. but there isn't any of the built-in assessment things in this platform. And so if you want to do a quiz, you could do that via Mentimeter or some external site that you link to for folks. And Mentimeter is really fun and very engaging, and something you can include in your live sessions and also link to in the lessons themselves. So great question, Susan. Sean asks when exactly workshop asynchronous content will be open to attendees. So all attendees will be granted access to their workshops the week before the event starts. And so depending on when they create their account and when they sign in, knowing that some people might not sign in until the first day, and some people might sign in the second they get that link. And so they'll have access to it early. I know that this is challenging for some of you that are doing your live sessions in the first week on how to get that asynchronous content out. And so I think that we can include that in our messaging to encourage people to get into the CSA Connect platform early and to explore the asynchronous content ahead of the live events that are starting on May 3rd. Somebody asked about the audience being addressed: informal, formal, neutral. What kind of tone should you use in posting things? I really think that's up to you and your presentation style. On the same note, they also asked about how technical the terminology should be. Know that we have participants from a wide range of experiences, a wide range of geographies, a wide range of project roles. And so I would err on the side of less complicated in terminology. And if you are using more complex terminology or jargon, just make sure it's really well explained so that you can accommodate folks from a wide variety of backgrounds. Yeah, great question. And another thing to note on that is our audience is generally citizen science practitioners, not volunteers. And so you can assume that people have some general background or understanding as project leaders, whether they're a project manager or just a very active kind of volunteer coordinator or leader. But just know that folks are coming from a wide range of backgrounds. Okay, Gary asked when the latest you can add or make changes to your lessons. We are trying to have, so the upload period for workshops and posters ends on April 21st. So we encourage you to have everything as near or final by April 21st. If there are small changes or things that you need to make along the way, you will still have like the editing privileges to do that, but we encourage you to have everything in by April 21st, knowing that attendees will be lit in the site, in the CSA Connect site soon after, and they can start engaging with the asynchronous material. And so you don't want to be adding things late because other folks might have already gone through your content and explored it. Someone asked if they're already registered for their bundle, can they register for an additional one? Unfortunately, if you've already registered, it's not easy for us to go in and change that. If there's another one that you were really excited about, you can send us a message and we might be able to accommodate that. Okay, Amy asked, how do I know the name of my workshop and how much time I have? And can you search by your name? You can check the website. We do have all the names of the workshops and bundles and the session times for those. The session times I do not believe are currently up on the website, but in confirmation emails to the submitting author should have all of that information about live sessions. And so if you are one of several authors on a workshop, you may not have received those details. And so reach out to the person who submitted the proposal for your workshop, and they should have an email from us from a couple of weeks ago that has the session times for your workshop.
The session times are on the workshop, on the website for the workshop.
Okay, great.
The live
yeah,
session.
And so you can also look on the website there. Okay. We're getting close to the end of the questions, and then I'm going to turn it over to Liv and Jennifer to talk a little bit more about the live sessions. Okay, another question about workshop bundles. I think we've talked a lot about that. Liv is going to talk about live sessions really soon. Okay, Susan's asking about wanting to have people pre-prepare some content, instructions that to share during the live sessions. I think I'm understanding that question correctly. And we did have this question come in via email too about folks that want to engage with participants in advance of the conference. We won't have a great way for you to message people or to send out that request, but it can be something that is in the first lesson. There can be an activity, complete this activity before the live session, but there isn't going to be a way for people to, and you can request that people post things. Individual attendees can post photos and links and share things in the discussion feed. And so if you are wanting some people to share things in advance of your live session, you're welcome to request that. And then the people who choose to engage can do that in the discussion feed. But we won't have a way for workshop presenters to email or contact attendees in advance. And another note on attendees is, so when people sign up for a bundle, they may be really interested in your workshop, or they may be really interested in another workshop. And so there will be more people in the bundle than may attend your live sessions. And so it will be difficult. I know we've had questions come through the question form about like, how do I know how many people have registered for my bundle or for my workshop? And how do I know how many people are going to attend my live sessions? And some of that is given the nature of the event and that there are a lot of events happening over the month and that people are going to be really excited and RSVP for a lot of things. It's going to be difficult to gauge how many people will actually attend, but you will be able to see the number of RSVPs on your event, as well as the number of members in that workshop bundle. And so you'll have an idea of how many people will be engaging about a week before the conference and up until the start of the conference. It'll kind of be in flux until May 3rd when everybody should be in the site. Okay, a couple of questions about live sessions. Great. And since there are, most of the remaining questions are about live sessions, I am going to turn it over to Liv and Jennifer and let them talk a little bit about live sessions. Liv, would it help if I shared that slide that we have about live sessions?
Sure, that would be great. Hi, everybody. I am Liv Vega, and I'm the events coordinator helping to bring all the wonderful work that you are bringing for your workshops and all of the back-end work that Rihanna's done in putting this together and all the work the planning team and subcommittee and board has done to really make this series engaging. So I know we have talked about the series as a whole. So for the whole month of May, that we will have all of these events, and workshops really are one of the crown jewels, if you will, of the series in my mind. Just the ability to engage with people and create real learning experiences. When we have talked to people of why they attend this event, learning and connecting are the two predominant themes that we keep seeing. So thank you so much for supporting this and being part of it. We're so thrilled to have you here. The titles of the workshops, the whole planning team has been looking at this, and volunteers. It's just amazing. So thank you so much. For the live sessions, as you can see, what we are planning to do, again, it's focused on the interactive. It's all going to be in Zoom meetings. So we're currently in a webinar platform right now, but in meetings, you'll be able to interact with attendees. We can set up based on the number of attendees if you want them to be muted, if you want to be able to, the chat will always be available, but people will be able to see each other and they'll be able to message one-on-one. So in addition to engaging with the attendees, we hope the attendees engage with each other as well. So, and for the bundles, it should be similar groups of people in for whichever bundle. It'll be the same group. So it'll be exciting to see how people connect and learn together. So what I'm going to ask of everybody that is a workshop presenter is to log in at least half an hour early before your workshop. And again, we'll make sure you have the links to everything. And the only thing we're going to ask is we're going to share a slide with you. So we can share a slide at the very beginning. So as people join in or start to come in, and we'll have a waiting room set up so you can let people in as they arrive, or set everything up so you can let people in as soon as you're ready to start presenting and welcoming people. But a CitSciVirtual slide that just says workshop, your workshop title, and it kind of creates that air of entering an event and makes it look really, really polished. So if you're able to check in half an hour before, I'll check in with all of you to make sure that you have the sharing capability in Zoom that you need, that your sound and audio is working great. And we'll just make sure you have everything you need before the workshop goes live. And then after that shared slide, the platform is yours. There will be breakout rooms available. So if you want to split people up into breakout rooms, you'll be able to do that, I believe. And again, it's totally your style and what you want to do. All workshops are 90 minutes, so that can go pretty fast. So just as you're planning that time, I know a lot of you have done workshops like this in the past. In the virtual world, just be ready to go with the flow and as organic as possible. And we're just really excited for it. So in the wonderful workshop toolkit that Rhianna and the team created, there's a lot of great suggestions like that she's showing in the slide here of ways to make this hands-on experience interesting, meaningful. And we also will be recording them so people that have chosen your bundle that might not be able to show up for the day could also partake in that, I believe. So I think that is it for the live sessions. We encourage you to take part in the whole month and engage with other workshop presenters and other people in your bundle, and just be there to support each other as we really lift off this big month of experiences. So thank you so much. And Jennifer, do you have anything to say and contribute about the live sessions in the series as a whole?
Sure. I will just reiterate, Liv, I think what you have said and what Rhianna has on this slide, which is that we have asked across this community and others who have done and are doing virtual conferencing. And what we really have heard from people who want to come to this event, from people who have attended other events that have worked and those that haven't, that the most effective use of live time and what people are really looking for in live time events is engagement. So we would strongly encourage everyone to use that time together live to do something that is interactive, to do something that is really engaging, to do something that is, to the degree that you can online and virtually, something that is hands-on, something that invites questions and dialogue, and strongly encourage and steer people away from doing things that look like panels or talks or presentations. We know that every content setting can merit some level of that, and strongly encourage people to direct that to some of the asynchronous content so that people can watch that on their own time, and really invite the creativity and ingenuity of all of you who I know engage people in your own settings, in your own projects, in your own classrooms and communities, to bring that same kind of ingenuity to engaging your peers in this community. And so some of the things that are in the toolkit, some of the things that are on this slide, look at inviting use of breakout rooms. Yes, breakout rooms definitely are possible in this platform. Use of other apps, live time. Yes, absolutely. Look at things that you might have access to, such as Mentimeter, or there are these other platforms like Padlet. There's a link to that in the toolkit that really makes the engagement and the live engagement possible. So I know that you all share this sentiment. I see that there's a comment in the chat right now that expecting people to do quote unquote homework before a live session is maybe not a realistic expectation. And that is true. But remember that these are people who are coming to your workshop because they want to learn something, because they want to engage in a topic. And we have in this platform lots of opportunity for social engagement and asynchronous engagement before and after the live sessions, so that you can be chatting with and encouraging the presenters who, or excuse me, the attendees who have registered for your bundle, to remind them to look at the materials, to take advantage of what you've provided and what's there. And is it very likely that some people won't do that? Yes, but let's be engaged socially to make sure that people know that it will be to their advantage to look at things before or after your session, and give them as much lead time and encouragement as you can in that chat forum through asynchronous engagement, to take advantage of what they have signed up to and you know, ultimately paid for to access, and they can make the best of their experience by taking advantage of what you've shared with them.
I think that's a great point, Jennifer. And I just want to emphasize that what we've seen over the past, I would say 6 months with virtual events is, so it took 6 months to get virtual events really up and running. And what we've seen in the past 6 months is people are essentially zoomed out. And so they're just showing up for engagement and experiences as they are. So anything you can do to make it kind of that tier for people that are engaged and do their homework and are prepared, that they get a rich experience out of it, as well as people that are excited about the topic, excited about the workshop, and are just able to plug in for that time. So I know that's quite the challenge to organize, but it's a really good orientation to have, and it's not based on anything other than the way people's lives and schedules and the virtual nature of the world right now. So thank you so much for taking such good care of the people that will be attending your workshops. And again, we'll be here and we will have a CSA representative, hopefully in every one of your sessions as well. So you will be supported, and we're doing everything we can on our end to make this a success for all of you.
I do see a couple of questions in the Q&A. We are working to ensure that we can record these live sessions. We recognize that the breakout rooms don't record. So you can let your group know in advance that if they are relying on the recording as their engagement, you will be doing most of it in breakout rooms, or a portion of that in breakout rooms. And if they really want the most of it, they should attend. If you want to make some of that type of experience available to others, you can pre-record some of those questions and then upload it as encouragement afterwards, and encourage the asynchronous engagement around that content. If you have, the recordings will be made available just to the group in your bundle. And we will be in touch, as there may be some post-event opportunities to share content with other audiences. We won't do any of that with recordings without your permission. So we'll be in touch in those regards. Polls in Zoom. That requires a lot of coordination and setup in advance. I would encourage you to look at the poll feature in the CSA Connect space. And you can do that concurrently, and you will have a lot more opportunity to control that feature there than we unfortunately will be able to coordinate by being able to provide everyone with Zoom lines. So yes, please encourage use of polls, but do that in the CSA Connect space. Other things, Rihanna, do you see things that I've missed here regarding?
Yeah, and I did want to, I neglected to talk a little bit about how the live sessions will, like how the event will be formatted in CSA Connect. And here, this is an example from a webinar we did last week. But I think this is how we'll set up your live session event. And so this is what people will see when they go to RSVP for your event. There will be an image with it. Folks can, if this wasn't a past event, it would have the opportunity to RSVP. You can add it to your calendar. And then there's a link to where the folks would go to access the Zoom room. When people RSVP, they get email notifications about it. And they would also get notifications about things that show up in the chat if they choose to. And so if you were to post something for everyone here, several of you asked about how do I encourage people to look at the materials. You can engage with people directly who have an RSVP for your live session and say, hey, make sure that you take a look at these materials. And you can also share a link to your event. Everything in CSA Connect, if you are in a published workshop space or an article or an event like this, you can copy the URL for that and post it in, and then folks can see that. And so the other thing that I wanted to point out about the events is that afterwards, we should be able to upload the recording directly into that event, either as like right here, I was able to embed the YouTube, but we might have it set up just so that where it would have said join, it would be a link to the recording. And so we're still figuring out the logistics of how we'll automate that or be able to do that, but know that folks will have access to that afterwards. Okay,
oh, sorry, I do see one other question as to whether presenters can be in different physical locations and all be presenters. And yes, we will set up the Zoom to do something very similar to what Rihanna in North Carolina, Liv in Maine, and myself in Brooklyn are doing right now. So as long as we know your presenters in advance, we will facilitate that for you. Sorry, Rihanna.
Yeah. No, thank you. I was just going to see if there was any remaining questions. I know we're almost at the top of the hour. Liv has some dates for some office hours. So if you do have questions or you run into some roadblocks or really want to dive deeper into something specific to your workshop in particular, we are hosting office hours weekly during the month of April. So you can get some feedback and ask questions of folks on the event team. And so Liv, if you want to share those in the chat, we'll also be sharing those via email. And then I'm also going to put in the link for the poster toolkit or the workshop toolkit, excuse me. This is, I would suggest your first, if you have a question or you're are trying to problem solve something, check and see if there's an answer in the poster toolkit first. We tried to be really thorough, so there might be stuff that isn't relevant or things that you're already super familiar with because you're teaching online courses, but there might be some good things in there. I also tried to be pretty detailed in how to share things on CSA Connect, and so that's a good place to go. And then if you still have additional questions, we're going to try to be answering questions from this Q&A form for presenters. And that form is up on our website, and then we'll put kind of some common questions and things on our frequently asked question page on the website. And so that's another place to go if you're running into something and need a quick answer, you might be able to check there. We'll try to be responsive to email at the CitSciVirtual account, but just know that we're getting a lot of messages through there, and that submitting your questions to the Q&A form will help us keep track of them and also help us share those responses with others. So
and we will
go ahead
send
go ahead,
reminders about the office hours, but thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this series and helping make it a huge success. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. And thanks everyone for being on today.